Game of Thrones Season 3. By this point, whether you have not seen the show or have, I'm far along enough to know that there are some things that need to be talked about, the critical points of the show. So spoilers are on the table here, folks. I'll be as modest as I can, but there's a lot to talk about, so should probably get right into it. So, since the end of Season 1, we watched Westeros have a temporary peacetime with King Robert Baratheon. Sorta. Ned Stark was his hand of the king, and everyone was together. For the most part. Jon Snow was at the wall, being a part of something that could accept him. Sansa was to be wed to Prince Joffrey. Arya was training to be a knight of some sort. But poor Bran was knocked off a tower by Jaime after Bran witnessed having sex with his sister, Cersei. Jaime and Cersei are brother and sister. You know this by now. Tyrion, of course, was being very clever and witty, as always in King's Landing or wherever he was as he pleased. But now that King Robert and Ned Stark are dead, everyone is scattered even more, and even more players had come into the fold. Hell, in terms of Season 2's progression, it has a lot of people stuck where they were at because such a great tragedy has struck. Arya was moving from place to place as she could when one event or another left her hanging. Sansa is manipulated and tormented by the psychopath King Joffrey. Jon is dealing with his side of the wall, trying to get under the good graces of the enemy, the wildlings, people who are trying to go south of the wall because an ancient evil is coming, and they don't wish to die. Bran is off to find out more about himself and a three-eyed raven that he sees in his dreams. So while Jon's story progresses a bit in Season 2, so does Stannis Baratheon's story as well. He has the rightful claim to the throne after his brother is dead, King Robert. And he has a lot to gain before he has to move forward, using magic and a powerful lady named Melisandre, who helps him gain what he needs to win his claim. And even the people who aren't affected by the death of Robert and Ned are unfortunately at a standstill themselves. This is all during Season 2, folks, dealing with their own tragedies. Daenerys, who I did not mention in Season 2 review, unfortunately, was at one hell of a standstill after losing Khal Drogo, leader of the Dothraki army. She finds herself in Qarth, and while that is shelter and a chance to regroup for her, she gets caught in the drama that has sinister gains for her and her dragons. That's right, dragons. They're finally in the fold here. I'm saying fold a lot. Now that we're in Season 3, these roles have shifted. Stannis has lost his battle at the Blackwater Bay when he was trying to reclaim his throne at King's Landing, and now has to regroup with no men left, half a council to help him except for Lady Melisandre. So he is stuck. Jon Snow gets a bit more progression as the wildlings move south, and Tyrion is back to square one but slowly moves back up the ranks in some worthy position. The person who has the best progression is Daenerys. She starts to come into her own. She gains an army, more supporters, more people to help her fight and gain back what's rightfully hers. She's starting to learn and position herself to become a true queen. All these characters that you and I follow literally have a reversal from Season 2. The stories that progressed in Season 2 now don't go anywhere in Season 3. The ones that didn't go anywhere in Season 2 finally have a chance to develop in Season 3. It's a heck of a role reversal. This is one of the weaknesses about this season, if not also one of the greatest strengths of the show. To have no development or complete development completely depends on the story itself, where the characters are now totally dependent upon their actions they previously made. It's to what they're making now that still defines them. So the story doesn't put the characters in a slow, deviating plot for no reason. It slowly grows the characters up to be in a better place so they can march forward, but it makes for one slow fluff of a season. One of the biggest gripes I had was with the fate of Theon Greyjoy. After his rebellion in Season 2 to his friends and taking over Winterfell, he is betrayed by the people he worked with and they sell him out to the Boltons. After that, we're only briefly given a chance to see what's going on with him. Throughout 7, if memory serves, out of the 10 episodes, Theon is tortured by this boy with little to no context as to why. You aren't given a real good reason until the finale. Theon scenes are pointless, gratuitous, and frustrating. But beyond that, it's truly all set up here. It's not a hard season to get through in terms of pacing, but you can tell this part of the story is setting up for a lot more chaos that is coming. The finale of the show is something you can't talk vaguely because it's where every piece begins to move and becomes placed right where they need to be. And it's not always a good right where they need to be. The storyline in particular has Caitlin and Rob, after winning many battles but feeling like they're losing the war, they end up losing half their men due to disagreements of how things go, and they're left with no choice but to return to an allegiance of a man they made a deal with, but unfortunately backpedaled and betrayed the deal, and Rob got married to someone else that he was promised to someone in particular. When they turn to Walder Frey, who's the man that they betrayed, they come across some dangerous territory. The best I can tell you is when you roll around to the Reign of Castamere, that episode in particular, which is episode 9, don't be surprised if you want to chuck something at the screen, swear to never watch the show again, or sit there in silence because of the shock. I know for a fact I did. While I enjoyed Season 3 of Game of Thrones, it was complete fluff for the next season. With some dull moments, undeviating stories, but slow progression led the season to be just another stepping stone. I'm gonna give Game of Thrones Season 3 a B. So those are my thoughts. Did you like this season or dislike this season? Tell me what you thought down below. If you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, please subscribe and I'll get you more videos in the future.